Hey guys, what's up and welcome to another episode of What's Happening, where we deep dive into the biggest happenings of the crypto space each week. This week, Nike announced that it's taking a plunge into the world of crypto collectibles with its acquisition of NFT studio Artifact, also pronounced But Nike is not the only company that's making moves into the Web3 space. In the past few weeks alone, giants of all industries, well, almost all industries, like Adidas, Twitter, and Pepsi, have all made their moves into the space. This isn't even taking into account the tech giants that have long planned to entrench themselves in Web3. Think Facebook changing its name to Meta, and Bill Gates predicting that the metaverse will host most of your office meetings in the next few years. But while this gives crypto enthusiasts all the reasons to be bullish on Web3, I can't help but wonder if the entry of traditional companies like this might negate the whole value proposition of Web 3.0 completely. Let me explain why.
This next generation internet.
What we're hearing now is Web 3.
Web 3.0.
That Web 3 and the blockchain.
Before we dive deep, let's give us some context into what the heck Web 3.0 is. What this means is that no permission is needed from a central authority to post or own anything. And instead of code being written and controlled by a small group of experts, it is developed in the full view of every user, encouraging participation and experimentation. To illustrate this better, let's take a look at what Web 1.0 and Web 2.0 looked like real quick. So Web 1.0 was the age of static web pages received from servers and a far cry of what we see online today. A website will basically put up information and you could only read it or access it. Then came Web 2.0, which emerged in the mid-2000s, allowing people to create content on platforms like Google, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And it also allowed people to easily connect and transact online with one another. Some critics might say that these companies have too much power over us. So with some of the world's biggest companies buying up Web 3.0 companies, here's my biggest gripe. Web 3.0 aims to solve a lot of today's online problems. Right now, a few big companies own almost everything we do online. They dictate what works, where the money is flowing, and they own all the data. The whole essence of Web3 is about grabbing some of that power back and redistributing it to the users. But with all these Web2 companies and traditional giants entering the space, isn't Web3 just going to be run by them again? In a Web3 world, people are supposed to be able to control their own data and carry out all the activity using a single personalized account, creating a public record on the blockchain of all those transactions. Social media companies have long been notoriously criticized for their not-so-great data protection practices, and they have come under flack time and time again for their loose handling of how data is acquired from their users. So this begs the question of how safe our data will be in the hands of these large corporations in the Web 3.0 space. For the longest time, content sharing online has been synonymous with big tech companies, and Web3 hopes to change all of that, giving users ownership as well. So for instance, every time you share content on a platform, you could earn a token for your contribution, giving you an ownership stake in the platform and one day a way to cash in. Or cash out, rather. In theory, this also means avoiding fees, rules, and strictures of tech companies. Yes, strictures is a word, go look it up. However, pragmatically, the clout that big tech companies have might render it difficult for smaller companies to achieve that goal of providing ownership to its users. But of course, it's not all doom and gloom. The entrance of big tech companies into Web3 also means big money flowing into the space, which is great for retail investors like us. It also means that the space will evolve a lot more quickly, bringing about services and products that will all be great for the common consumer. The internet's evolution has always been a tug of war between fragmentation and centralization, and when it swings too far in one direction, backlash is likely to occur. And besides big money, having large corporations like this in the space also lends credibility for non-crypto natives, which is always good news for everyone in the space. We are still positive about the metaverse space, and like we mentioned in this week's podcast on the top crypto trends of 2022, we are confident that its potential is only going to go up in the year to come. If this was helpful, please give us a sub and a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you join our Telegram community called Chain Debrief Community. It doesn't get simpler than that. We'll add the link down below. You can ask questions, share insights, and also share project drops. Looking for alpha? Check it out. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.